Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Agile Soul. Well, yeah, okay, I know I'm indoors. Why am I wearing a mask? Well, this mask is just here to flag the importance. And I know everyone in the world across the globe is starting to get vaccinated, and all of us are super excited about it. Thank God for that. But just a quick reminder, please continue to wear the masks for a while because there is still a majority of the population across the globe who has not yet got vaccinated. And in order to help them, it is important for us also to keep our masks on. So super important, please keep wearing it. Now, what it is, what is today's video? No, I am not going to talk about COVID and wearing masks, etc. Don't worry. What I'm going to talk to you about today is to give you a brief insight of what it is I do. I did have a couple of requests and questions from people asking me, "Hey, what do Scrum Masters do? I'm thinking about shifting, but can you tell me a little more about your job?" And I was like, yeah, why not just put it in a video out there so that not just people who ask me, but if anyone's interested, you could also forward this video or they could just watch it and hopefully they like what they hear. And with that, I am going to begin today's presentation. What do Scrum Masters and Agile Coaches do? Before I answer this question, I want to give a small disclaimer. Guys, what I'm going to talk in this video is very personal. It is what I did as a Scrum Master and what I do as an Agile Coach at this point. It This is not like a golden book. I would not request you to say, oh, this is what Scrum Masters do and this is what I'm expected to do. No, it really depends on the kind of organization you work with, the kind of team you work with, the kind of people that you're involved in, and most importantly, the kind of Agile Coach or Scrum Master you want to be as a person. So it's very, very subjective. So this is just my take on the subject. I hope you like it. So let us begin. As a Scrum Master, oh, before I go, I'm going to go back to my first slide. The way this presentation is going to go is that I've divided it into two sections. First, I will talk to you about what I did as a Scrum Master. Once we've answered that, I will show you what I'm doing as an Agile Coach to really show you the commonalities and the slight differences between the two roles. And with that, coming back to the slide that you've already seen, yes, as a Scrum Master, my focus was very team oriented. I worked with a couple of teams. So there was a point when I was working with about 3 or 4 teams, and my focus was always that team. Making sure they are working in a proper agile workflow, making sure that they have all the resources they need, making sure things are going smooth, making sure we're doing all the scrum ceremonies, etc. So it was a very team oriented role. I was also the Scrum process expert, as of course as the name suggests. But part of my role was also to show the team that what is Scrum, what is it as a workflow, how do we ensure we're using the tools provided properly to make the most of it, and also are we really following the Scrum workflow the way it was meant to be, or are we really just doing it because someone else said it and you're just assuming that what you see on your task boards, some teams use Trello, some teams use Jira. It's of course different organizations use different things, and Monday.com. And are you just using those workflows that these tools provide, or are you really following Scrum as a workflow within your team? Kind of my job to ensure that all of that was being done. I was also a coach. So but over here I was a coach on Scrum roles. So my role as a coach was very primarily to ensure that, okay, as a product owner, what is your role within a Scrum environment with the implementation team? Just so you know, an implementation team is nothing but a development team. But over the course of my videos, I just realized that, hey, why call it a dev team? Because there are teams who are not software engineers who could also benefit from this. Thus, implementation team. Coming back, uh, yeah. So, what is your role within a Scrum environment as an implementation team, as a stakeholder? What are your roles and responsibilities, etc. So that was also kind of what I was doing. Apart from that, I was also facilitating a lot of the Scrum ceremonies. So not just retrospectives and dailies, but sometimes I used to always also, along with the product owners, co-facilitate things like plannings and refinements to ensure that, hey, things are being done the way they were originally meant to be done, and we're making the most of it. Then I also did conflict resolution, but this was very specific on a team level. So if there were any internal conflicts within my team, I was kind of the person who would really talk it out, help them mediate those conversations, and really focus on conflict resolutions within the environment. Um, it was also team building. A lot of my role also include team building because Scrum as a workflow or Agile in general really is not about one person. It is a lot relies on team effort. So yeah, I was also really focused on building my team, and I used to do this through the conflict resolution sessions, facilitations, coachings, etc. I also would help in project planning. Now, of course, I'm no expert in a product and what is supposed to be done, etc. No, we have experts for that, and that is their territory. But what I, as a Scrum Master, was an expert was to help these product owners really think of, okay, this is my product, this is my idea. Now, how can I really put this into tangible processes or into break it down into milestones, create a vision that my team can then work towards, really bridging the gap between what is my project, what is the end goal, what does my team do, and how can we fuse them together to make the most of it. And yeah, these were the kind of things that really empowered me as a Scrum Master to really do the best that I could in the role. And I have to say here that a Scrum Master is only as good as your team. So it is super important. You could be a great Scrum Master as a person, but if you don't have a team that supports you, you don't have a team that is willing to be coached, that wants to follow the processes, you're really working with two hands behind your back. So it's very hand in hand. Um, Now, coming to the Agile Coach. Well, the focus still is there. We still do focus, but the difference now as an Agile Coach is I'm more focused on the company level. So I more work on projects, across departments, not just tied to one or two teams, but across the departments, across teams. On a company level, we're also trying to bring in certain agile changes, etc. So it's as an agile coach, you kind of broaden your vision from just here to kind of here. You remove the side shades, let's say that. You remove the horse blinders and you're really looking at everything as a whole. And that is super interesting because it really changes your perspective. I definitely see a big shift in the way I was working as a scrum master a couple of months ago to how I'm working as an agile coach now. Like it's a drastic shift just because I stepped back and now I have a bigger view of things. Um, as an agile coach, I am also an agile expert, and I'm an agile trainer based in the organization. And what does that mean? So yes, as a scrum master, you do look at your agile values and principles and stuff, but it's very team focused, right? You're still ensuring that the workflows are there within your team. But as an agile coach, my job also involves making sure that the values of agile are being implemented, the principles are being put into practice, and it's really training people on how they can be more agile irrespective of your role, irrespective of what team you work on, which department you are, etc. Now it's more helping people work in an agile fashion and really think in an agile manner. I am also coaching people on agile roles. Now, what does agile roles mean here? Not, no, there are no dedicated roles that says, oh, in an agile framework, this is your role. Unlike Scrum, no. Agile roles is just you in your role, how agile can you be? So if you are, for example, the head of product, you're not tied to a team, but at the same time you still need to be connected to your agile roots because that's what your team's working on, and you really need to start thinking in an agile fashion. So really looking at the roles and helping people be more agile within their own roles. And this could be not just product engineering. I work with sales, I work with marketing. It's just based on the kind of people you work with, you need to change your approach. And that's what we do as agile coaches. Apart from that, there is also an element of mentoring the other scrum masters. uh, I know that a lot of organizations look at scrum masters and agile coaches as basically career steps. Right and wrong, there is no right or wrong answer, but one of the reasons I've put it here specifically because as an agile coach, the experience that I've had after getting this outlook, it's something that I need to pass on to the agile other scrum masters to help them start seeing in this position. So once they also get out of a team-based approach to more an organizational approach, they are better prepared to handle the situation. So mentoring of other scrum masters, very key part of the role. And conflict resolution, this one's kind of my favorite at this point because you don't really, and here conflicts don't really mean fights, right? It could just be a mere disagreement, and it is really key to our role as an or my role as an agile coach to be neutral in the whole conversation. At the same time, help both teams realize each other's points and try to find the best neutral solution while keeping in mind my agile values to make sure that whatever solution we take from here, it's agile, because that is at the end of the day my goal, to really help my team, the people I work with, and my organization work in a better agile fashion. Um, it As an agile coach, I also am trying to help cultivating an agile mindset, or basically agile transformation, if you may call it. And what does this mean? Well, most of the people, actually, I wouldn't say most. There are quite a few people who still come from a traditional project management or a waterfall approach, and while that might have worked there, but one of the key things of being agile is trying to keep up with today, right? We live in a time when things change from day to day. One day something's there, the next day it's out. And when you come from these kind of methods, it's very difficult for you to think on your feet and rapidly look from left to right, come up with a plan. And it's not everybody's cup of tea as well. But as an agile coach, it part of my role through the method of coaching as such, like actually I should have linked them, is to really bring people to think about, okay, it's okay, things go wrong, how can I be more agile about it, how can I really inspect and adapt to change, how can I be more transparent, how can I break things down so that we achieve it in smaller portions, how can I get, how can I look at my product and what does my stakeholder want, etc. A lot of things to look into, and that's kind of what I as an agile coach also try to work with my teams to always understand and help you find your own solutions. As an agile coach, we play a dual role, right? I also play the role of a consultant where you come to me with a situation and I tell you, yes, in an agile fashion, this is the best way to approach it. But when I'm talking about transformations and agile mindsets, it's more on a coaching approach where I kind of coach you and help you realize the agile way of doing stuff, because people know it. It's just you need to help them think in that direction. And when it comes from you, the impact is much higher than when I just tell you what to do. um, as an agile coach, I am also a facilitator. And this is not just facilitation like, oh, scrum ceremonies facilitation, but workshops, sessions like ask me anything within an organization, or all hands, or um, did I say workshop? Yeah, I said workshop. It could even be just presentations, sessions, anything that you want to present to a group of people, or you want to just have a session where you're trying to get the most, you have a clear goal, but you have a fixed time to achieve it. As an agile coach, I play a lot of these roles as well. And it's something I absolutely adore and I love to do. Um, yeah, I think facilitation is just one of the perks. I would call it a perk of being an agile coach. I just love it that much. And the last one is communication training and coaching. The reason I've put this at the end and the reason I've given it its own special section is because everything that I've told you in today's video, everything I told you in all my previous videos, none of it will make sense if it is not communicated well. If it is, and communication is not everybody's cup of tea, but it can be. it is one of those things that with the right coaching, with the right training, you can be a good communicator. And as an agile coach, that's something that I always encourage. And communication, please note, always brings together with it transparency, because the more open your communication, the more transparent you are about your project, about your process, about what's happening, and the more easily you are able to connect with your stakeholders and your organization to get things done. If things go wrong, it's most of us tend to try to say, oh my god, we failed, let's just find the solution right away. No, we would encourage you to talk about that failure, really learn from what went wrong, why did it go wrong, because until you do those things, until you communicate openly and tell, hey, unfortunately we messed up, but we have learned from it, and that is so much better than just saying, oh yeah, we've found a few glitches and the project is just changed by a couple of, you know, not the best approach. So that is why this is something that I try to do as my role of in my role as an agile coach, to really ensure that there is transparency across all levels. Yes, confidentiality is different. Please, I'm not saying be transparent about all of those things, but when it comes to work, when it comes to things that affect you and your team, the more open and transparent you are and the better you communicate that, the more higher chances you have of success. And yeah, with that, this is what I did as a Scrum Master and what I'm doing as an Agile Coach. The roles are not that different. To be very honest with you, it is not that different. It's just the way you approach it. And it is a journey. I would still recommend, if you are looking at starting your journey into this, or if you want to move into an agile coach or a scrum master role, start with being a scrum master, because things that you learn at that level really teach you lessons that you can implement when you are at the level of an agile coach. So even though organizations might not look at it, there are some organizations who don't look at it as a career path, try to first always join and have a team focused, bring out these things. Once you have your roots um, put in place, it's much easier for you to achieve the other rather than the other way around. And with that, I would like to thank you all for watching this video, taking the time out. It really means a lot to me. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube. It really helps me know that, my content is reaching you guys and you're liking it, and it encourages me to do more. But also, if you don't agree with what I say, please go ahead and dislike it as well. And if you don't mind, add a comment so I know what you're thinking, how I can improve, because hey, I'm not perfect as well, right? For this and more content, you have my YouTube channel. You also have my website, theagilesoul.xyz. Go there, check it out. I also have a form there where you can request stuff. You can also give me feedback. Really, all ears for it. And thank you so much again. Please be safe. Take care. I know vaccines are coming out, but now is the time we need to be that extra careful. Otherwise, everything we did for the past year and a half, I would say, would go down the drain. So take care, guys, and yeah, be safe. Bye. Thank you for watching. If you like the content of my video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.